Alright, this is how to beat the Noble Knights. Alright, let's see. There's some cards that you're probably already maining. If you play a zombie deck, you're probably playing Zombie World, so that will make it hard for them to equip most of their equip cards. Let's see. Yeah, because this one you can only equip to a warrior type monster. So if you turn it to a zombie, obviously Noble Arms of Destiny is useless. But good thing Noble Arms Excalibur can be equipped to a Noble Knight monster. It doesn't have to be a warrior. There's only 4 Noble Knights. Man, that'd be broken if you put it in a warrior deck, right? But Noble Knights, Noble Arms of Destiny is a pretty good warrior card. Once per turn can be destroyed by battle or card effect. Can't argue with that at all. I don't have all the other equip cards here. They all serve their own different purposes. I just want to focus mainly on the cards that I mainly use. I use Boars, I use Madrot, I use Driston, Noble Arms, Gwyn, of course, the rank 5 and the rank 4 King, XYZs. I do use I use 3 copies of Excalibur and 3 copies of Destiny, and 1 copy of each of the other Noble Arms cards. That's just the way I like to play. To each their own, right? So, if you're one typical thing is your opponent uses the effect of one of their cards to re-equip, then you could just quickly MST it, so that way it will permanently stay in the grave. If your opponent destroys all their cards, all their equip cards at the same time, using and then activates their effects to bring them all back and re-equip, then you can use like Spell Shattering Arrow to get rid of them all at once. Obviously you can play like Macrocosmos, for example, right, and then play Spell Shattering Arrow, and that would permanently get rid of them for you. Enemy control is only good if you want to prevent the monsters from being in attack mode, so you don't get attacked. Taking the monsters that way, by triggering one of your own monsters, so that way he doesn't have the monster on his side, so he can't equip. You want to make those equip cards useless to him. You want to make them dead draws, so take their monsters, you know what I mean? If he manages to get his Noble Knight on the field and pumps it up with the equip cards, you could just summon a monster and creature swap and make him, your own monster, right? If the monster ain't face up, you can't equip it, so once you summon a Noble Knight, just book it. You don't have to worry about it, because now it's face down. Another thing is, if he didn't use the Excalibur and he only used the other ones, well, he could now be targeted. You know what I mean? So you could just book them, and the equip cards will just fall off. Same goes for playing Book of Eclipse. See, the Book of Eclipse doesn't target. That's the difference between that and Book. Is the Book of Eclipse doesn't target. So even if he does have Excalibur equipped, it wouldn't matter. Face down, the equip cards to the grave. Swords of Concealing Light. Also have to remember that in the Noble Knight equip cards, they don't get their effects until they resolve. So if you chain to them, that's a way of beating them. If you chain to them, especially if you chain a Book of Moon to the activation of their spell card, the monster will be face down, then the equip card will fall off. Swords of Concealing, that's another way of making the equip cards fall off. Rare Epidemic Virus comes in handy. Again, when their effect already was activated to re-equip, you just now destroy it for the second time and make sure they don't re-equip. Karma cut. If they don't have a monster, they can't do anything. The equip cards are useless. Compose, Wing Blast, all the same stuff. Bottomless, so forth. Torrential. You get the idea. Just make sure they don't have monsters to equip. You don't have to worry about their equip card effects. Dark Hole, Lightning Beam. Even Forbidden Dress. If they summon a Noble Knight and you chain, you target his Noble Knight with this. Now his monster cannot be targeted, so he won't be able to equip him because he can't be targeted. So that's something you could try out. If you have Forbidden Dress in your deck, you might want to try that. In the absurdity, pick any creature type. I like to choose Divine Beast, and then soon there's going to be a new creature type called what was it? Jinryu. I think it's supposed to translate into Legendary Dragon, or Dragons, Legendary Dragons. Let's see. Again, make sure his, as long as you could target him, put his monster face down, the equip cards fall off, run him over. Exciton Knight. Depending on which equip cards are equipped, Exciton Knight can pretty much just kill your opponent's Noble Knight, and then the equip cards will obviously just follow. But if he has the one that will prevent his Noble Knight from being destroyed, which is Excalibur, not Excalibur, which is Noble Arms of Destiny, then obviously they'll just re-equip, and you still gotta deal with them. Black Rose, pretty much the same thing. You want to try to kill his monster. Jewelry Dragon is really good. He's like the answer to like almost every problem you could think of. Almost every problem. Because obviously you activate his effect to destroy, and then Noble Arms of Destiny will activate. Then you can just proceed to attack and run the Noble Knight over. On average, the strongest is 2200, unless there's a power boost or there's a card on the field, like the Continuous Spell card, Burden the Mighty, to reduce a monster's attack and whatnot. Or he uses the other equip card. They're light type sometimes because Boars and Madra become dark while they're equipped, so Katasa won't work in that scenario, but it'll work in the scenario when they are still light, so it won't matter too much. It's mainly when they exceed summon. That's when you're going to really use Catastrophes, when they exceed summon, because you guarantee they'll still be light. You also want to make sure they don't have Noble Arms of Destiny. It wouldn't matter. Things you want to make sure they're not stronger than you. You definitely don't want an Honest, so you gotta be careful. But Catastrophe could potentially help you out in this scenario. That's it. That's the end of the video.